Good morning students. Today computer revision. This is second revision. Last revision we saw 1 marks fully. Today we are going to see 2 marks. Okay. I told you 2 marks cover 20 marks. 10 2 mark will be asked. No choice will be given. You have to write all the 10 2 marks so that if you write correctly you can score 20 marks. Balance 30 mark is for 1 mark. That you know very well, right? That 30 mark 1 mark we revised already. Now we are concentrating on 2 marks. Okay. First unit, question number 4, that is 2 mark. Okay. Briefly describe the characteristics of a computer that make it such a useful machine. Page number 3,4. See, I already told you this. Since it is a 2 mark question, you want to write the headings alone. Computer characteristics means, what are the characteristics of computer? Speed. Speed is one character. Precision, reliability, storage and retention. These are the different characteristics of a computer. What are those? Speed means computer speed. Like human beings, computer also has a few characters. In that, one good character is speed. The computer performs speed. Okay. Next. Precision in the sense it will perform accurate result. Accurate result will be given by the computer. It will not perform any wrong calculation. Okay, if it performs wrong calculation, then it is sure that we have given our input wrong, but the computer will not do any wrong calculation because it's a machine. Okay. Reliability means without making any mistake, if our input is correct, without making any mistake, the computer can perform its task repeatedly. How long you want to work with the computer will work. Next, storage and retention. It will have a very good storage capacity, so you can store the files, and whenever it is needed you can take it and you can edit it, modify it, whatever you need you can do it. That's it. Okay. We'll go for the next question. So what, according to this question, what you want to do? Write the headings alone. If it is asked, you write the headings alone. We'll go for the next question. Next question. What do you understood by touchscreen capability? What kind of application is this useful in? Okay, page number 8. All options appear on the screen as graphic image. We know that very well. In computer, most of the icons are graphic icons like this. Okay. You need to touch an image on the screen to select the option. See, this is a touchscreen laptop. If you want to minimize it, you just touch this. If you want to minimize this, just touch it. If you want to maximize this, just touch it. So it is a touchscreen option. So what we are dealing with now. What this question is about, touchscreen only now. So we are seeing about that. All options appear on the screen as graphics image. I showed you, and then you need to touch the image on the screen to select the option. If you touch, that is enough. The computer program then decides what to do. If you touch, the computer will have a set of programs now. Operating system, I told you, that will have a set of programs now. That will decide either to minimize or maximize. If you touch to minimize, it will run the program and it will minimize. If you touch to maximize, it will run the program and it will maximize. That's all. Touchscreens are especially useful in areas where number of options is limited. If the number of options is limited, in those areas touchscreens have a very good capacity. Okay, for example, touchscreens are great for conducting quizzes. If you are conducting quizzes, if you are attending any quizzes, you might have attended, right? So in monitor, when questions will be asked, only 4 options will be asked. Okay, so it is very obviously easy to touch the correct answer. In that conditions, touchscreen will pay a very good impact. That's what they're coming to say. Okay. This is what 5th question deals with. You read it. Okay. Next one. Next question. Discuss the concept of electronic money. Page number 9. 6th question. Okay. 6th question, you see. In credit card or debit card. You know credit card or debit card, right? In credit card or a debit card, data is stored in magnetic strip. In backside, one black color thing will be there, right? Data are stored in magnetic strip. This is magnetic strip. Okay. The data does not change. Those data will not change. These cards are used for shopping or withdrawal of money from an ATM. So using this card, what you can do, you can go to an ATM and withdraw money. The card reader in ATM machine, card reader will be the card reader. It will read the card. Okay, in ATM machine it will be there. Or shop readers, or shop, in ATM, either it will be inside the ATM machine, or if you go for shops, no, they will have one card reader. You know that very well, right? You will insert the card and it will read it and it will receive your money by giving the password. Okay, those are the card readers. Okay. The information about the purchaser and his bank from the card. So what the card reader will do, it will receive the information about the purchaser. If you are purchasing, it will read about your information and your bank related information. Okay, and sends it to the bank computer, and it will send to the bank computer that he have bought this product and for this amount. All these detail it enter to the bank computer. So credit cards, and they will receive the money from the bank. Okay, and the shop will receive the money from the bank. Okay, credit card and debit cards are also known as electronic money. Okay, this is the concept which is also known as electronic money. Credit card and debit cards are also known as what? Electronic money. Okay. See the 6th and 7th question on, but 6th and 7th question it will be inside the same paragraph only. 6th question is whole paragraph, 7th question is from 3rd line. Okay, it will be inside the same paragraph only, so don't get confused. Okay, 7th question you leave, that is not needed. It is inside the same question and it is not needed. Okay, you just quit the 7th question, go for 8th question. What is the difference between RAM and ROM? Page number 10. RAM stands for random access memory. It is temporary in nature. You know that very well. I told you, no. RAM stores temporary data. If you switch off the computer, data in the RAM will be erased. Okay. That is temporarily holds data and instruction required for immediate processing. That is the use of RAM. It will temporarily store the data for immediate processing. While you switch off, data will be erased. That's all about RAM. Next, ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory. Read-only memory. ROM stores program that instruct the computer how to control its various parts and how to process. What ROM will say to the computer, how the ROM will work. ROM will inform the computer how to work. For example, if you are moving this mouse pointer, ROM will have set of program that will make this mouse pointer to move. You are minimizing this file. ROM will have set of program that will make the file to minimize. You are refreshing. ROM will have a set of program that will make to refresh. Okay, these are the concept of ROM. Okay. So once we will read. ROM stands for read-only memory. ROM stores the programs that instruct the computer how to control its various parts and how to process data. Okay, that's it. This is the difference between RAM and ROM. Okay, we'll go for next question. Why is the invention of transistor considered to be a giant step in the development of computer? Why is the invention of transistor, okay, considered to be a giant step in the development of computer? Page number 2. Why? The answer is, it could perform the same function as the value, but was smaller, cheaper, faster, more reliable, and consumed less electricity. This is the reason. Why transistor made a very good impact. Very good impact. Okay, it will perform same like other electronic device, but it is smaller, cheaper, faster, reliable, and consume less electricity. That is why it became a massive hit. That is why it made a very good revolution. Okay. Question number 10. What do you mean by binary code? Why is it necessary that all information should be input into the computer using binary code? What do you mean by binary code? Why it is necessary that all information should be input into the computer using binary code? Page number 6. Now we are going to see about binary code. This code using only 2 numbers. This code uses what? Only 2 numbers, 0 and 1. We know that very well. That is binary code. Okay, it's called binary code or the binary number system. This code uses only 2 numbers, 0 and 1. That is called binary code or binary number. Okay, number system. Okay. Next, the language of binary numbers is only language that a computer understands even today. Even today, the computer will understand only one language, that is binary language. You may write in some other language, C, C++, Java, but it will be converted into machine language only. Because the computer understands only the machine language, which is nothing but binary language. Okay. This language is also known as machine language. Yeah, as I said. Binary language and machine language both are same only. So the answer is what? This code uses only two numbers, 0 and 1. Okay. It is called binary code or binary number system. Okay. The language of binary numbers is the only language that a computer understands even today. The computer understands only the binary language even today. This language is also known as machine language. Since the computer is a machine, it understands binary language only. So it is called machine language. That's all. Okay. We'll go for the next question. How is a character represented in a binary code? Page number 7. In page number 7, we are going to see 11th question. See 11th question, first you should write this line. I don't remember whether I said in last video or not, but this video I will say, you listen. A pattern made up of group of 8 zeros and ones. A pattern is made up of 8 zeros and ones. Okay. That is called byte. See, I told no, 8 bit forms a byte. Okay. A pattern of group of 8 zeros and ones. Either you can write like this. A group of 8 zeros and ones form a byte. Okay, form a byte. A byte is used to represent one character. This byte is used to represent one character, either A, B, C, D, either A or B or C or D, else 1, 2, 3 something. It will use to represent one character. Okay. For example, the number 1 is represented by 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Number 2 is represented by 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Like that. A letter A is represented by 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, letter B is represented by 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Okay, that's all. These two you write enough. So, if it is asked for exam, what you should write? A pattern made up of 8 zeros and ones is called byte. This you should write. And then a byte is used to represent one character. A byte is used to represent one character. That also you should write. Then directly go here. A letter A is represented by 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And then letter B is represented by 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Like this you write enough. In center line you may leave, no issues. If you know, you write. Else if you want to leave, you can leave it. Okay. So the first two lines and also this letter A, this line. If you write, 2 marks will be given. If the question is asked and if you write, then mark will be given. What is the advantage of having a higher RAM in a computer? Why it is necessary to have higher RAM in a computer? Page number 7. Question number 12, page number 7. Okay. The higher the RAM size, the more efficiently large programs on the computer, large programs run on the computer. If the RAM is high, the computer will handle large programs, big programs efficiently. So how you should write? The higher the RAM size, the more efficiently. The higher the RAM size, the more efficiently large programs run on the computer. Okay. Okay. First unit, last question. What is cache memory? How is cache memory different from main memory? First you say what is cache memory. Then you say why cache memory is different from main memory. Page number 10. Cache memory is a high-speed memory used for temporary transfer of data and instructions. Used for temporary storage of data and instruction from the main memory to the CPU. From the main memory to the CPU. Cache memory is a high-speed memory. Cache memory is a high-speed memory used for temporary transfer of data, used for temporary transfer of data and instruction from main memory to the CPU. See, in question number 13 now, we saw the answer for what is cache memory only. How is cache memory different from main memory? Sorry students, this last class I didn't say this. This question also one small mistake. Write down there. Okay, write down one more line is there. How is cache memory different from main memory? That we have to write. You write it. Okay. Small thing only. RAM, main memory means RAM only. Okay, RAM is used to store frequently used data. RAM is used to store frequently used data, but cache memory is used to store most frequently used data. That's all. This is the difference. This is the answer for how is cache memory different from main memory. Okay, main memory means RAM. Don't confuse. Okay, RAM is used to store frequently used data, but cache is used to store most frequently used data. Okay. Just add this with add this. Okay, you have to write what is cache memory. It is in the page number 10, and then down you have to write. You write down here. Else, if you have space, if you know, you can write here also. You have space here, and then if it is asked in the question paper. If it is asked in the question paper, you should write both also. Write about cache memory and write this line also. Okay, write the answer which is in the page number 10, and you should write this also. Okay. That's all students. The first unit 2 marks are over. We'll go for the second unit. Okay students, now open page number 22. That is unit number 2. Okay, now we are going to see 2 marks of unit number 2. Okay, fourth one. There are too many windows open on your computer. You want to minimize all of them by giving a single command. What command will you give? Okay, the answer is in page number 16. See, you opened many applications. You want to minimize all of them in a single command. What is that command? That's what we are going to see. Page number 16. This is what the answer. Hold down the Windows logo. See this logo. This one. Hold down the Windows logo key. Hold down the Windows key. Windows logo key, Windows key. And press M to minimize all windows. Hold down the Windows key and press M to minimize all the windows. Okay. That's it. Okay, now we will go for the fifth question. What procedure will you follow to save a file under the following situation? What procedure will you follow? What are the procedures can you follow to save the files? Okay, under these 4 criteria, they have given 4 criteria. Under that criteria, you want to save a file. How will you save? First one, saving a file for the first time. If you want to save a file for the first time, what is the procedure? Okay, first one, saving file for the first time. See here. To save a file for the first time, you should create a file in any drive. First, to save the file, what you should do? You should create the file. That is the point. I have written an example for that. You write the same example. To save a file for the first time, you should create a file on the drive. Then, example, open MS Word. Write your document. Click on File. Give Save As. Select a drive. Save the file by any name. Okay, what this says, I will say what this says. I will explain about this one. That is just explanation, but you should write as it is here. Okay, explanation means you should open the MS Word. First, to save a file, you should open MS Word or Excel, whatever you want to work with. Then you have to write what you want to write in that. Then you want to click on file option. There it will show you many options. Under file it will show you many options. In that you should click on save as. So what happens it will ask where to save. So you have to select a drive where to save. Either drive C or D or E. You have to select any drive. Okay, and then you have to save your file. Okay, how will you save? You should give the name, in which name you should save it. You should give the name and then click on save, so that your file will be saved on any drive. Okay. Second question, in the same fifth question, second point, save a file under the same name after making modification in it. You should save the file under the same name after doing small modification. How to do that? Second one, open the saved file. You have already saved that file, right? Open that. Modify your document. Modify your document. Press Control S. Control S will save. See this, Control and S. Okay. Control S. You should press like this. Okay. Okay. Press Control S. Now your file is saved under the same name. Okay. Okay. Next. Third point, saving a file in same folder under a different name after making modification in it. How to do that? Open the saved file, modify your document. Again, open the saved file, modify your document, close the file. Now what they asked to do, just asked to rename the file. So right click on the file, right click on the file. Okay. Click on rename. If you right click, there will be option called rename. Click on rename. Change the file name. That's all. So change the file name. So what happens? Your file name is changed, but the file is saved on the same folder. That is what they asked in third point. Now fourth point, saving a file under same name but in different drive. Now same name but different drive. Okay, how to do that? Right click on the file, right click on the same file which you have saved already. Okay, click on copy. Click, there will be, if you right click, there will be option called copy. I think you know that very well. Go to another drive. Go to the next drive where you want to save the file. Right click on that drive. In that, go to that drive and right click on that drive and click on paste option. In that drive, if you right click on that drive, you will have list of options. In that you will have paste. I know you know that very well. Okay, click on paste. Now so what happens? Now your file is copied on another drive with same name. Okay. Okay, students, these are the answers. Okay. Now sixth question. You have created a file on your hard disk. You have created a file on your hard disk. You want to make a copy of it on your pen drive to take it to school. How will you proceed? Okay. Is there any other method of doing this? Leave that. Okay. See, now you have saved the file on your hard disk. In a hard disk you have saved a file. You want to copy it to the pen drive and take to the school. What is the procedure? You know very well that, right? So I have written it theoretically. We will go through that. Okay. Connect your pen drive to the computer. That is the first procedure. Connect your pen drive to the computer. Okay. Select the file. Select the file you want to copy. Select the file which you want to copy to the pen drive. Okay. Right click on the file. Then select the file which you want to copy. Right click on that file. Okay. So you will have list of options. In that, click copy. Click copy, the same thing which I told before. Click copy. Open your pen drive in your computer. In your computer, in my computer, you will have option pen drive. Since you have inserted the pen drive option, it will show in your computer, right? Okay. Open that pen drive. Okay. And then right click on a empty space. After opening your pen drive, right click on any empty space. Okay. And then click paste. Already you have copied the file. You should paste the file now. So click paste. Okay. Now your file is copied to the pen drive. So what happens if you click paste? The file will be copied there. So now your file is copied in the pen drive. That's it. Okay. Seventh question. You want to find a file using search facility. See, the seventh question, no, it is not theoretical, it is practical. This one, after coming to school, we'll see. This one you can't write like fifth question or sixth question. So seventh question, near the question you write practical. After the school reopens, we will see that and see that. Okay. Go for the next question. Eighth question. You want to see the contents of folder documents. Okay, you want to see the contents inside the folder documents. State two methods by which you can do this. State any two methods by which you can do this. Okay. See, there is document in your computer. There is something called document in your computer. You want to see what is there inside the document. So what are the two options? That is what the question. Okay, first one. Click on start menu in Windows 7. All these are for Windows 7. Okay. Don't confuse it with Windows 8 or 10. Okay, all these are for Windows 7. Okay. Click on start menu. In Windows 7 there is something called start menu. Click on that and then click on documents. In start menu, if you click on start menu, it will show you list of options. In that you have something called documents. Okay, click on documents. Okay, that is first way. Second way, click on start menu. Again, second way also the same thing only. Click on start menu. Open computer. In start menu there is something called computer. Okay, click on computer and open it. Open computer. Inside, if you go inside the computer, there is an option called document. Okay, click on that document. By doing this two ways, you can see what are the contents are there inside the document. Okay. Last question, ninth question. You are left-handed. Okay, you wish to interchange the function of the left and right buttons of your computer mouse. How will you do this? See, I am right-handed. So see, this is my right hand. I am right-handed. Okay. So here in this computer, in this mouse, if I right click, all these options will come. If I left click, I can select an option. Now you want to do vice versa. If I am left-handed, what should I do? By left clicking, I want all the options. By right clicking, I want to select the options. Right. So the basic thing is you want to interchange these programs. Okay, now what the mouse is doing, the same thing you want to interchange it. This button should do this button's work and this button should do this button's work. That is what we are going to see how it is going. That is what we are going to see now, how to do. Okay. Page number is 20. In page number 20 you see. From the start menu, in Windows you have something called start menu. Okay, go to control panel. In the start menu you have an option called control panel. Inside the control panel, go to hardware and sound. Where you should go? Hardware and sound. Okay, inside, if you go inside hardware and sound, you will see select mouse option. This is Windows 8, so I can't show here. Can't show here. Don't confuse. Okay, you in Windows 7 it will be little different. You work in Windows 7 and see. If you don't have, just read this. Okay, that's enough. Select the mouse option under devices. Under devices you have something called mouse. Select it. The mouse properties Windows appears. The mouse properties Windows appears. What appears? If you select the mouse, the properties of mouse appears. Okay. First you should go to start menu, then you should go to control panel. Inside control panel you should go to hardware and sound. Then you should select the mouse option. Under that mouse you should mouse option. Where is mouse? Mouse is under devices option. You should select devices option. Under that you should select mouse. Then if you select mouse properties will be displayed. Okay. Study the various options on the window. Properties is displayed now. You study the various options in that properties, in that window. Besides changing the graphic of the mouse pointer, you can interchange the function of left and right button. See, leave this point alone. Besides changing the graphic for the mouse pointer, leave that, strike out that point. That point is not needed. That's why I have marked this alone. Interchange the function of the left and right buttons. That's all. Okay. Till that, first what you want to write, first point, second point, third point you want to write, then directly in fourth point write this alone. Interchange the function of left and right buttons. Okay, interchange the function of left and right buttons. That's all. Then you should write this fifth point. In fifth point it is not necessary to write the whole line. Just write click OK. Click OK. So one more time I will say, listen. First point fully you should write. Second point fully you should write. Third point fully you should write. Fourth point, this line alone, third line alone, interchange the function of left and right buttons. Okay, line alone. Then last point, it is not necessary to write all this. Write click OK alone. What? Click OK. Click OK alone, you write. That's all. These points are the answer for question number 9. If this question comes, you want to write these things alone. That is enough. Okay. These marked things alone. That is enough. Okay. Okay, students. That's all. Your revision is over. So your 1 mark, 2 mark, all the revisions are over. 1 mark in last video visa, 2 mark in this video we completed. That's all, students, for both the unit visa. Be free, study well, get a good mark, enjoy your days. Okay, if you get good mark, automatically you will enjoy your days. Okay, enjoy your days, be happy, bye, take care, have a nice day.